ultimate enzymes are anti-aging on multiple levels. The lipase and the bile salts and the ultimate enzymes will help your body extract these pigments and extract these oil-soluble nutrients for your skin, for your liver, for every part of the body, especially for the skin, though. Now, if you are postmenopausal, or if you had a gallbladder taken out, or you got a liver problem, or an intestinal problem, or you're aging, I just covered 95% of us, you'd be smart to help the body extract these oil-soluble substances from your veggies. How do you do that? Well, you can use oil. Oil goes into oil. Like dissolves like. So by using butter or coconut oil, you can pull out these pigments. You can pull out the fatty vitamins. You can pull out the essential fats. You can pull out these fatty minerals, or at least start the process. You can, in essence, start the digestive process in your pan or in your steamer before you actually eat the food. You pre-digest the food by using a little bit of butter, using a little bit of coconut oil. You don't want to overcook things, but just a little bit of steam or a little bit of braising will help release those pigments for your skin and for your liver and for your brain and for fighting cancer. It'll help release the fatty vitamins. Now, you don't want too much heat, but you'll help release these nutrients by mixing them with a little bit of oil, mixing your Brussels sprouts, your broccoli, your radishes, your beets, your spices, all of it with a little bit of oil and a little bit of heat. The combination of oil and heat will help pull out the fatty substances, the fatty nutrients. You can also use other oil-soluble material or oil-extracting material. One of the best is lecithin. I love lecithin. Pam, by the way, cooking spray is lecithin. And you can get lecithin anywhere, pretty much, health food stores or, on the internet. Lecithin is readily available. If you mix it in with your curcumin or your turmeric, the curcumin will come out more readily. If you mix it in with the beets, the blue pigments and the red pigments, the xanthins and the carotenes and the cobalamin, cyanocobalamin, which is purple, that's vitamin B12, that will also come out more readily. And again, this all comes from understanding the distinction between water-soluble and fat-soluble. Anything we can do to improve fat absorption is going to increase our lives. And that means chewing and working on digestive enzymes in the stomach and using betaine HCl and using apple cider vinegar or maybe pepsin, by working with the pancreas, pancreatic enzymes, by using probiotics. These are all wonderful strategies for keeping the body's fat absorbing or fat processing machinery operating on firing on all cylinders. Same with the gallbladder. I know I say it all the time, but it's so important. Nothing expresses our collective ignorance about how our bodies work than our willingness to have this thing taken out of our body, taken out if we're in pain. Now, I'm not saying that anybody should be suffering with gallstones. It's miserable, and sometimes you don't care. You just want that thing taken out. But if you're shy of an emergency, you want to keep your gallbladder, and you're not going to get any participation in this from your doctor because they don't think it's important. I've had physicians tell me to my face that there's no proven need for a gallbladder, and you can live just fine with this. This is the medical dogma. You can live just fine without a gallbladder. Dr. William Brugge, MD, Associate Professor of Medicine at Harvard Medical School. Most people don't notice anything, and there's no real change in digestion after having their gallbladder removed. Thank you, Doctor. From the journal Steroids, 2014, August 2014, bile acids are nutrient signaling hormones. Interesting. Now we know that bile is not just for digestion. Bile is not just for breaking up fats. Bile is not just for detox, all of which are very important, but bile also signals cells to take in nutrition. They actually turn on they open up the gates in a cell, much like insulin. They work with insulin, actually. So bile from your gallbladder and your liver is important for helping your cells get nourished, among other things. We'll talk about all this tomorrow, and we'll talk about how you can build bile, make more bile. And if you got your gallbladder, keep it, no matter what your doctor says. Doctors believe that, this is from this guy, Dr. Brugge from Harvard. He says, most animal species in the world don't have gallbladders, and your gallbladder is an organ you can live without. That's the medical dogma. Anyway, if you're listening to this program, you're smarter than your doctor. Not necessarily smarter than your doctor, but you understand more about chemistry than your doctor. That's the problem with the medical model. The medical model is about clinical chemistry or clinical treatment. It's not about chemistry. It's about treating your symptoms in the clinic. That's why if you really want to understand health, if you really want to stay healthy, or if you're not healthy and you want to get better, find a chemist, find a biochemist, somebody who understands the biology of the body, the biochemistry of the body, I should say, how biology affects how things are made. This is where, we talked a lot of chemistry today, practical chemistry. This is why it's important to understand fat and water and salt with your veggies and pulling or salt with your veggie juices and pulling pigments out by using a little bit of oil and heat. This is all chemistry stuff that your doctor doesn't know. Not that I'm ripping on doctors, but it's just not what they do. That's not their specialty. Their specialty is getting you out of pain if you got a gallbladder problem. So it's not so much on doctors being boneheaded about chemistry, although they are. It's the arrogance of doctors. That's really what gets me, is the chauvinism. And they're trained that way. So if you've been listening to this program for the last hour, or last half hour, I should say, and you understood what we're talking about with oil and water and the distinction and bile, etc., you know more about chemistry and you know more about health probably than your physician. And that's what the purpose of this program is. It's to get us to understand more about health than our medical model is telling us. Anyway, our number today, 844-236-6010, 844-236-6010. We'll continue talking bile and building bile and fats and water and fat-soluble nutrients and hormones and the skin tomorrow as we continue talking skin health on the bright side. Okay, let's go to Paul in New York. 844-236-6010 is our number. What's up, Paul? We left you hanging yesterday, huh?
Yeah, a little bit better. Thanks, but just real quick, I had a really, I've been off the gluten for a while. Something got in me a couple of months ago. Had a really bad reaction. I had raw skin behind my knee.
You said you got off the gluten?
I've been gluten-free, but I ate something. I think I had like some cross-contamination from something I got at a pizza parlor.
Did you get into an allergic reaction kind of situation? Is what you're saying?
Well, the doctors will say I had eczema and psoriasis, but then I scratched it really bad, and it's just been really, really bad.
All right. Well, here's the deal. Let me help you take care of that.
Okay. Let me tell you a couple of other things real quick.
Real quick. I got a bunch of calls I want to get to.
I got you. I ended up going, just for lack of anything to do, I ended up at a dermatologist. He gave me Actylate, and I got an allergic reaction to that.
You got an allergic reaction to the medicine for your allergic reaction. How do you like
that? And then I had most of the gluten was on my back and my legs. Now all over my chest and my back, I have hives and all that kind of stuff. My belly button kind of got infected.
Okay, I don't need any more of the grim details. It sounds awful. Okay. Here's what you need to do. First of all, that's your penalty for going to the doctor.
I didn't really want to. And
okay, all right. Anyway,
I'm trying not to go back.
Okay, well, lesson learned. Here's the deal. If you have an allergic reaction to something and you're miserable, get some Benadryl, okay? You get it at the drugstore. It'll make you sleepy, so you want to, you don't want to be driving or doing it. You might not feel like going to work. Not everybody gets sleepy, but that's one of the side effects, but it will take care of the emergency, an allergic reaction. Now, if it's a serious allergic reaction, you got to be careful. You can die from an allergic reaction, so you want to be careful with allergic reactions. So if it's just itching or some kind of skin issue, get some Benadryl. You can also get a Benadryl cream, and you could use that topically. Now, if you're thinking, well, what is Pharmacist Ben talking about this stuff for, these drugs for, sometimes you need them if you're miserable, okay? I'm not Pollyannish about this thing. Sometimes you need what you need. Sometimes you need an antihistamine. In the long run, however, the skin is a fatty organ. It's extremely responsive to fats, essential fatty acids in particular, and when you're deficient in EFAs, okay? And that could be you're not taking them or you're not absorbing them, both or together.
I've been taking. It
could be not absorbing, and I don't know this. I'm just going to give you this information. You do with it what you will, and for the listeners.
Right.
When you're deficient in EFAs, your skin becomes much more vulnerable. It becomes much more destabilized. So this is where eczema and this is where psoriasis come from. What you're talking about with eczema and psoriasis is you're talking about destabilized skin cells. The cells are not growing correctly. They're not moving correctly, and this can very well, given the way we eat and our collective digestive problems, very well be related to problems with essential fatty acids, because we know when EFAs come out of the diet, skin problems ensue quickly. especially flakiness, especially poorly growing cells, especially excess cell, all kinds of cell growth problems. So EFAs, high doses, make sure you're using them with your ultimate enzymes, with some apple cider vinegar, probably with food. Now, we spent a lot of time today and yesterday and tomorrow also about bile. So working on bile is important. That means making sure that your liver and your intestine are working well. Probiotics are unspeakably important. Anything you can do for intestinal health, really. If you have any intestinal problems, those need to be corrected. That is the whole food diary thing that we always talk about. And then make sure you're taking your fatty vitamins, particularly A and D. A and D are the two most important skin health vitamins, or fatty vitamins. C is in there too, but it's not fatty. But from a fatty perspective, A and D are incredibly vital for skin health. And doctors know this. They'll use A and D for psoriasis as a treatment for psoriasis. They'll use A and D for a treatment for acne. They'll use A and D as a treatment for eczema. These are all indications for medical A and D, but you don't need medical A and D. You can get out in the sun. You can use your ultimate EFAs to get some D, or fish oil to get some D. You can use organ meats to get your D, although I like the sun the best. You can also take D supplements if you want. Then there's also vitamin A, 20,000 IU of vitamin A for all skin issues. No, for everybody, for all human beings, need to have vitamin A in a supplemental fashion. It's your building vitamin, particularly important for the skin. And then in terms of minerals, zinc is probably the most important mineral for skin health. Selenium is right up there. And then there was one more that I was going to tell you, which I forgot what that was. All your antioxidant nutrients, of course. Oh, yeah, the B complex and vitamin C. Fatty vitamin C, and then the B complex. If you can find topical pantothenic acid, that's probably the most important topically. Actually, niacin, which is B3, and B5, pantothenic acid, or panthenol. You may have seen panthenol in shampoos, Pantene shampoo. That takes advantage of vitamin B5's effect on skin, hair being a type of skin, kind of, sort of. Of course, you can't really do anything for hair because it's dead, but panthenol is used in the skin and hair business. You may get some topical benefits from that, pantothenic acid, I should say. And then also niacin, vitamin B3, niacin. Niacin is really interesting in a lot of ways, but it's also got some nice skin health benefits. Paul, I got to let you go. Got a bunch of calls I want to get to. Thanks for your call. Appreciate it. I'm Pharmacist Ben. You're listening to The Bright Side. We'll be back after
this. Thank you for listening to GCN. Visit GCNlive.com today.
Okay, we're back on The Bright Side. 844-236-6010 is our number. Lisa in Florida. Good morning. What's going on?
Yeah, my 84-year-old mother-in-law, she had a stroke about eight months ago, and she's paralyzed pretty much on her left side.
How old did you say? Did you say 84? Okay, she's paralyzed.
She was in really good health, and then she had high blood pressure, so they put her on blood pressure medication, and then they put her on statin drugs. And once in a while, she took antidepressants.
This is pre-stroke you're talking about?
Yeah, pre-stroke, and then she had a stroke.
Okay, well, here's the deal.
The medication gave her the stroke.
Well, no, she was falling apart before that, okay? But it's really important, and it's interesting and it's important, okay? And as somebody who's listening to this program, I know you're going to be interested, and everybody else listening to this program, you wouldn't be listening to this program if you weren't going to be interested in what I'm going to say. And that is the fact that we don't have good assessments for whether we're healthy or not, because we don't know. Nobody just gets a stroke. Nobody just has high blood pressure. Nobody just has cholesterol problems. These are all part of a syndrome. And I'm not beating your mom up or you up or anybody up. It's just important that we recognize the fact that we're not healthy if we have something go wrong. You follow me, Lisa? It's not to beat you up. It's just so you can have some power here. If you think, oh, I was fine, and then all of a sudden this happened, you're not going to know what to do. It's going to be like it was random. It's not. The first thing is always food, okay? All disease is cell disease, and all cell disease results from dirty blood, period. I mean, I've been trying to think of racking my brain on how I can simplify this, everything we talk about here on the program, and it's this. It's all about the blood, and it's all... disease is a reflection of toxic, sludgy, dirty blood. How does the blood get dirty? Well, if you're an IV drug user, you can get it dirty through heroin or crack or whatever people shoot up. That can happen. I don't think your mother-in-law is doing that, okay? If you're working in a coal mine or something, you may be able to you may breathe some stuff in, and that can happen, but I don't think your mother-in-law works in a coal mine. So
Yeah.
that leaves